tour Forward America. And I'm at a pretty cool spot. A pretty unknown spot. A little bit off the beaten path here in the backwoods of south central Pennsylvania. I'm here at Camp Michaux, and it's eerie. It's interesting. This is the site of what would have been a World War II POW camp. A site that held nearly 7,500 enemies of America. Pretty wild. Now the site has had several uses over the years as a church camp and so on and so forth, but it's really cool to be here. It's beautiful. A little bit on the windy side today, but the sun is shining, the rain has gone away, and hopefully snow is gone for a good long while here in south central PA. So from about 1933 to the early 40s, the site was used as a civilian conservation corps camp. Civilian Conservation Corps was a program put in place to help young men find jobs during the Great Depression. And as I come up on the ruins of this farmhouse here, I see a somewhat stark reminder of what would become of this land in the early 40s. Come upon one of the guard towers here. You can see the distinct concrete anchors in the ground. So one of the fascinating parts about history is learning about the area you're in. And one of my favorite things to do is to approach an area sight unseen, knowing very little about it, just a cursory knowledge, but until you get down on the ground and experience and learn for yourself, it's different. So here I was exploring what I thought were the ruins of Camp Michaux, and it turns out I was merely exploring the old farm and barn. So the plot thickens. We got to get deeper into the woods, deeper into Michaux State Forest here in south central Pennsylvania. But we're going to find this place, and it's going to be worth it. Stay tuned. So there's that old barn wall, and turns out the camp proper was just right across the road. Pretty neat. I'm really looking forward to getting in here and showing you guys, but you can see the old ruins here, Camp Michaux. And as I explore this area, I'm not really sure where to start chew this monster here. It's a lot of different paths, a lot of different areas, but not all those who wander are lost. So as I said earlier, about 7,500 German and later Japanese prisoners would be interned here. It's an intelligence interrogation camp, and it's nestled away in a part of Pennsylvania that's pretty quiet, very little cell phone service, just very peaceful. After the war, it was used as a church camp and a Bible camp of sorts, and I think it's pretty neat that after the horrors of World War II and what the world had experienced, that they were able to turn it into a place of joy and hope and prayer, and I think that's pretty awesome. Something interesting as I walk along, I see not only this red spray paint, which I imagine is marking a trail, which is I appreciate immensely, but also these little metal chips, these little metal tags in trees. If anybody knows what those are for, leave me a comment down below. I would love to know what that's all about. This is pretty neat, and I apologize for all the wind, but just here off the main road, just a set of stairs and a support. What it went to, what it was, I'll try to find out and tag below for you guys. But this place is awesome. For someone who is a bit of a ruin goon, who goes absolutely crazy for stuff like this, I'm in hog heaven right now. So the wind has died down just a hair here, and I'm still slowly making my way through Camp Michaux. And there is a certain calm here. There's a certain just neatness about it all, if that makes sense. Like, this is cool. It's cool that we still have this left over. Coming upon something here. Something big and made of concrete, and there's some writing in there and I can't quite make it out. Now I've seen the graffiti in other YouTubers' videos, and I came here on a bit of a spur of the moment type of thing, but I don't think this is the graffiti we're looking for. This might be Civilian Conservation Corps graffiti here. But this is still really cool. And all around me, like I said, I am such a sucker for ruins and old things and stone walls and old barns, and partly I blame my father, because him and I, we used to work construction together, and we grew to appreciate simple architecture, things of the past. But see, we have this old retaining wall here. We have some more ruins down here. We have these old stairs. And it just makes me appreciate those things so much more. Those were fond memories my father and I created together. And though he's been gone now for almost 6 years, having fought a hard but short battle with cancer, coming to places like this, it's kind of like bringing a small piece of him with me everywhere I go, appreciating old places, walking around in the woods, being in nature. So thanks for coming with me, Dad. And thank you guys for sharing this with me as well. I've stumbled upon this giant concrete slab with raised concrete footers, and I wonder, what could it have been? Was this maybe where prisoners were housed? Was it where guards lived, a guard house? This is actually rather fascinating. I'm not an architect. I only worked construction for a few years in my life, but we can make out some pretty telltale things on this concrete slab alone, in an effort to help us understand the past and what occurred here a little bit better. Immediately, as I came up upon this concrete slab, I noticed these 6 pipes in the ground. And that tells me right off the bat that this was some sort of bathroom area. In fact, you can make out just in front of some of these pipes where more than likely the toilets were installed into the ground. There's a large pipe in the center there. Perhaps this was some sort of shower area for them, or if I'm thinking in construction terms, you can see how the ground, the level of the concrete kind of slopes down in there. So perhaps it's just a drain because, you know, it is a bathroom after all, a communal bathroom. Not only that, but a bathroom in a prison camp. So most of these guys probably weren't too thrilled to be here, and it's perhaps very likely they would try to flood their areas. And these are all just inferences I'm making. I don't really know what this is. This could have been a part of the church camp that was here, and here I am attributing it to prisoners of war that America held. Now this area here almost makes me think it's some type of shower because it drains in there. This might have been the showering area for these men. Now I will say the park does have maps available, and each area is marked off with a number that coincides with the number on the map, but there's no fun in all that. I'm just exploring on a whim. And truthfully, exploring on a whim is a pretty great way to go through and see places. If you're anything like me, I go home after I drive through a new town or see a new historical spot, and I'm on Wikipedia, I'm on Google Images. I want to see more and learn more and know more about that place. So undoubtedly, after I'm done here at Camp Michaux and I go home and I start to edit this video, put things together, find extra pictures that'll go with it, I'm going to learn a whole lot more. I'm going to develop a deeper, better understanding of this incredible place. We're still on the hunt for that graffiti, and if I had cell phone service, I would do a quick Google search of Camp Michaux graffiti. But Camp Michaux is a rare place in our modern world. A place with no cell service, no services of any kind for miles and miles. These rare places are beautiful in a way. As we become more and more connected in our world, we tend to feel more and more isolated, more and more alone. We forget about the simple things, and here I am exploring a place with some rather deep historical significance, and I feel connected to the world around me, to our nation's history in a way that others probably wouldn't understand. This camp is rather incredible. If you're just someone who needs to see something built, something tangible, it might not be for you. If you're someone that can look at an old foundation, someone who can look at just a couple rocks, a couple cement bricks sticking out of the ground, and imagine what it was like, and go back to those times in the 40s where this was a camp, well, this is certainly the place for you. And this place just keeps going. As I get deeper in the woods and I think, oh, there's no way I have possibly not seen everything. I notice a slab, I notice a wall. I notice something that piques my interest and I'm drawn to it. And I love that. That brings me so much joy. The feeling of exploration, of seeing something that I haven't seen yet. That's my pursuit of happiness. Now, after this area was used for the camp for soldiers, it was a church camp, the United Church of Christ, till about the 70s. And the one thing I did note on the map is that there was a swimming pool. And if I was a betting man, and I'm usually not, but this time I would make a bet that this was the pool. Now my adventurer spirit faces a dilemma. Part of me says that is super not safe to go down into. The other part of me says, what's the worst that could happen? Well, I will say a younger me would have explored. Older, mid-30s me, I'm not feeling it. Water's dripping, getting spooky catacomb vibes. Some mysteries are, I suppose, meant to remain mysteries. And Camp Michaux just keeps going. It just keeps going. Every time I think that I'm done with this area, and I can turn around and make some sort of effort at finding my car, I see something else that piques my interest and I want to check it out. Guys, I'm so excited right now. I was about to wrap this video up, say a little something about how, wanted to find the graffiti but didn't this trip, so I have to make a return trip, and I saw a final stop. Not a final stop, but I saw another stop here along the walking tour of Camp Michaux. And it was this waterfall. It was an artificial dam of a creek. Quite a beautiful spot. And there was a retaining wall along that spot. And I decided to check it out, walk along the wall. Why not? The inner child in me. What child doesn't walk along a stone wall, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna walk along this stone wall. And I'm walking. And there, carved into the concrete, graffiti from Prisoner of War, PW, and then what was very likely either the date he was here or perhaps a number, 22.5.45. Not only did I find that one, but as I continued to walk along the wall, I found another one, PW, June, year unknown. But I love that feeling of being so fulfilled for setting out on a journey, a goal, and achieving that. There's nothing better. This place is so cool. I'm so excited. part of the fun of exploring places, to me at least. It's going off the trail a bit. After I found that graffiti, I saw some more things I wanted to see. There was a little culvert of type with concrete on either side, and I wanted to see what that was all about. So I went and explored it, and my gosh, guys, I'm still exploring. I have a feeling I'm about to eat my words. What I told you earlier about finding what I thought was a pretty decent sized pool. Well, as I came out from that culvert, I noticed an enormous pond, if you will, with a retaining wall around it and a historical sign. So I'm coming up on that right now, and let's see what else we've discovered here at Camp Michaux. What other secrets in this place filled with secrets? What else does it have in store for us? Well, it turns out I was partially correct. When this was the church camp, this was the church camp pond, and this was probably a blast to swim in. I imagine this was a lot of fun. So, was it the swimming pool? Not quite, but the church camp pond, man, imagine cannonballing in there. I'm not sure if that's a verb, but dropping a sweet cannonball into the church pond, splashing all your friends, having probably the elders of the church give you dirty looks because they got wet. They're just trying to enjoy a nice day. Man, I bet this was a really, really good time out here. So I will say, if you do plan on coming out here to Camp Michaux, make sure you're steady-footed, as it was a camp and there's lots of remains of little culverts and drainage ditches and all sorts of stones, and of course it being a path in the woods, you have all of that type of stuff to deal with as well, with tree branches and rocks and all that. So wear good shoes. Might be a little muddy. If you are like me, you will certainly go off the beaten path. This is just a very fascinating place. It's a little bit eerie, I won't lie, but the skeletons of a World War II POW camp are literally tucked away in the in the low hills and small mountains of Pennsylvania. I think that's pretty wild. I'm really glad I made the journey here, and glad you guys could join me. I'm gonna keep exploring, but I have a feeling finally, things are coming to an end here at Camp Michaux. I say that, and of course, what happens? I see this. this fountain, or what I assume was a fountain at one point in time, and here it is lying dormant. Oh my gosh. It is absolutely beautiful. The blue stones. I gotta take some time with this, guys. Wow. Just off of the fountain, looks like those concrete blocks, what would have been remains of a guard tower. Pretty obvious tell that that's what that was. It's really cool. You can see where the water would have been coming out of on this fountain. Who knows what was there on that blank slab. Look, there's another hole right there. Wow, this is an absolute treat. Absolute treat. Well, friends, I am making my way back to where I started, here at Camp Michaux. Back to those stairs and that divergent triangle path, and back to the parking lot. Now, this has been an absolute treat, an absolute treasure here, tucked away in the woods of Cumberland County, Pennsylvania. Camp Michaux. Definitely worth checking out. I had this area to myself for the most part. In fact, when I tossed a penny into the old fountain, I heard a voice. And it was kind of spooky because I'm essentially out here by myself. Saw one biker and he was way far ahead of me. So perhaps there are still some old spirits of that POW camp still here at Camp Michaux. As always, this has been Aaron Smith for Forward America. Make sure you guys get out and check out all the great historical sites in your neighborhood. And I will catch you on the next one.